SNOOT GAME is a visual novel created by anonymous developer CAVEMANON, a group of 4chan users who set out to make a parody of a game called Goodbye Volcano High, a game that was given a big front screen announcement during the PS5 event back in 2020 and was met with
Everybody in chat say no! Nobody cares! This game is fucking cringe!
I mean, it's a game about a non-binary furry dinosaur in high school. I mean, what kind of response did they think it was gonna get? They actually had a demo out for it on Steam, and I did play it, but before I can get any footage of it for this video, they fucking nuked it, and they also delayed the game 2 months. There isn't too much to say, it's just a demo, but what I did play, I noticed that the animation and lip syncing were both pretty bad.
So you wouldn't think it, but if just for the rest of the class, so that we may all begin.
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck.
But Goodbye Volcano High isn't what I'm here to talk about. Instead, I wanted to focus on its parody, which I found after looking up what people had to say about that demo. And I kept seeing people talk about SNOOT GAME, and when I saw that it was free, my curiosity got the best of me. I didn't have much in terms of expectations for SNOOT GAME, aside from it being dumb and make me laugh, and although it does achieve that several times, what I didn't see coming at all was a surprisingly well written and emotional story. Now, before I talk about SNOOT GAME, I'm gonna put up a spoiler warning. Seriously, this game is really good. It's worth playing and it's free. I'll leave a link to the dev's website in the description if you want to try it out. If you were to ask me what I thought SNOOT GAME's best quality is, I would say it's definitely the characters. Now, if you can get past the fact that they're furry dinosaurs, you'll find that the characters are all really well written and really believable too. You've got Nazer, a really stressed out and overprotective guy with a heart of gold, who worries too much about other people and not enough about himself. Feng, a really talented musician who suffers from an identity crisis as well as a lot of childhood trauma. Naomi, a very delusional and pompous ball of fake sunshine and rainbows who has a very strange fixation with being the perfect person. Anon, an antisocial guy who has a desire to remain unseen due to him being picked on his entire life. Reed, a huge stoner who comes off as a clueless dipshit who's high all the time, but in reality is a very perceptive and wise person who watches from afar. And Trish, a judgmental hothead who is terrified of losing their friend. The main cast of characters are all cleverly written. They all have their reasons for talking and behaving the way they do. I mean, they joke, argue, and even fight amongst each other like real people do. They rarely seem out of character, and when they're out of line or just flat out act like complete assholes, you can understand and sometimes even sympathize with them. Even brief side characters are great because they all have diverse but charming personalities, and their interactions with the player are crucial moments in the story that help push it forward. But not all the characters are meant to be super serious. Like, for example, they have a parody of Carl from Aqua Teen, who absolutely killed me when I first saw him.
Carl? What the fuck?
It's clear the devs are fans of Adult Swim and Comedy Central. I mean, it's a parody at the end of the day, so it's gonna have dumb shit like this. The game doesn't do this constantly, though. It knows when to be funny and when to be serious, but let me tell you, it lands nearly every attempt at humor. It had me rolling a few times. But getting back on topic, the characters are what make this game. They all serve their purpose, and they all fit really nicely within its plot. And no two characters define this game better than protagonist Anon, and most important character, Feng. Let's talk about Anon. He is the first character the player is introduced to, and starts off a nihilistic and somewhat edgy loner who wanted to avoid any and all social interaction and be invisible to everyone. This is the result of him being bullied into oblivion at his last school, and also the reason why he transferred to Volcano High in the first place. Also, yeah, this game calls the high school Volcano High, just like Goodbye Volcano High. It's a parody, come on. Anon is really socially awkward, and he damn near shits his pants whenever he's alone with a chick. And he's got a fuck ton of anxiety, and he's always fearful that everyone around him is staring at him and ready to roast him the moment he does something stupid. Unfortunately for Anon though, he's the only human in this acid trip dinosaur school, so staying invisible lasts about 30 seconds. He immediately catches the attention of two of our main side characters, Naomi, who's the student council president, and Nazer, her boyfriend, and the team, fucking my god, why can't I say, track team, fuck! Nazer runs for the fucking track. There, she's fucking. I need to fucking smoke. These two essentially act as a bridge for Anon to start meeting new people and making new friends. Even though he doesn't initially want to and is still really suspicious of people, he starts to warm up to them and even loosen up around people in general. But that's not to say he's without flaws. During the first half of the game, he does say a couple of insensitive things, and depending on the decisions you make, he gets drunk and says some downright awful shit to his friend. What the fuck? But that's only if you're a fucking dick. If you're a good boy, then Anon goes through a lot of changes, becoming a more mature and understanding and caring person. I like to think that a lot of his character development kicks off during the concert in the beginning of the game, where he's laughing his ass off with the rest of the students and is then confronted by the principal for it. Also, I really want to quickly say, some of the shit that those students said, the ones who were watching the concert, were pretty mean.
Fuck all of you. No one wanna fuck you. Fuck!
But yeah, the principal confronts and scolds Anon for laughing at them, and also leaves us with probably the most important quote in the game: "You are not the only person in the world. Everyone is fighting their own battles." This line is important because Anon thinks back on it a lot before he decides to say anything. Of course, you, the player, can still choose to say something shitty, but it definitely did sway my decision making a little bit at times. And this is especially apparent whenever interacting with main side protagonist Fang. Time to talk about my favorite character. Now, we don't get the best first impression of Fang, considering they flip out on Nazer on the phone for trying to help the band out, and then later flip out on Anon for accidentally misgendering them. But since these two, coincidentally, have a couple classes together as well as a lunch period and mutual acquaintance, they start to bond fairly quickly over their relatable woes. At the start of the game, Fang is a walking bag of unaddressed trauma. They are filled with a lot of anger and self-hatred due to an accident they indirectly caused over half a decade prior, which nearly resulted in the death of their brother. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Nazer is Fang's brother. Just clearing that up. Their guilt and inability to forgive themselves, on top of their parents seeing them as a fuck-up and having a bad influence in the form of her friend Trish, is what leads them to have this identity crisis and terrible outlook on the world. But depending on the player's choices, the relationship between Fang and Anon allows the both of them to heal from their pasts, as well as redeem themselves and figure out who they are and want to be. And I really don't care what anyone says. I ship the fuck out of these two. Their banter is just great. I love it. They're not overly lovey-dovey. I mean, sure they have their moments, but for the most part, like 90% of the game, they act like homies. They're always talking shit and roasting each other. They bitch and moan about pet peeves, talk to each other in garbage tea and crumpet accents. And overall, it just feels like they can act like their true selves around each other. It's really wholesome to see those mental barriers start to calm down as the game goes on. Something that cracked me up is that Fang at one point asks Anon what kind of music he listens to. And one of the options is boomer rock, and I picked that because that is what I listen to, and she called me a dweeb for it, even though one peek into her room and me and this dino bitch have like the exact same fucking room. She also has a poster of The Last Unicorn, which is a little random. Here, I'll replace it. Yeah! Now we're talking! Honestly, the fact that this game was written well enough that I actually care about my human protagonist's relationship with his dinosaur girlfriend is just fucking wild to me. Don't forget, I went into this game completely blind when I first played it. I had no idea what it was. If you were to tell me what the plot was prior to me playing it, I would not have played it. I would have thought, nope, that's fucking gay, I'm not doing it. I think this is a good time for me to bring up why I said that Fang is the most important character in the game. The entire game revolves around Fang's character development and what direction it goes in. And even though these two end up in a romantic relationship regardless of your choices, whether or not they get any growth out of it is wholly dependent on what you decide to do. And this isn't some Life is Strange shit or OG Mass Effect 3, where the outcome is determined by one final decision at the end of the game. Every decision you make will drastically change the last third of the game. SNOOT Game works off of a hidden point system. Whenever you say or do something, either Fang or Anon will or won't get a point. The more points you have, the higher chance of getting the better endings. I'm not gonna get too much into the endings because I really do think you guys should play the game for yourselves, but I'll say this. There's 4 of them. Ending 4 is the happy ending. Ending 3 is a bittersweet ending. Ending 2 is depression incarnate. And ending 1 is... Alright, after seeing that, you're probably thinking, wow, ending 1 and 2 suck dick and balls. I'm gonna go for ending 3 or 4. Good luck with that. Something I do like about this game's choices is that pretty much none of them are black and white. Most of them are pretty gray. A lot of times you're going to be doing something that you think is, the right choice, and it ends up fucking something up. You really have to take the consequences of your actions into consideration. After all, you're not the only person in the world. What you do won't just affect the relationship between Anon and side characters, but also their relationships between all the side characters. Snoot Game's overarching message is empathy, and how acknowledging someone's feelings, letting go of bias, and listening with a goal to understand can go a really long way. And this is honestly why I can't help but love the shit out of this game and its characters. It's clear the devs put a lot of thought and care into Snoot Game, all the while having a ton of fun with it. The perfect blend of dumb and serious is really what made this game such an experience for me. Snoot Game managed to make me laugh my ass off and feel something. Two things that pretty much no game can make me do, and this one managed to do both. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to say that the game is flawless or has some 10 out of 10 writing. It doesn't. In fact, there is a little bit of cringe in this game. There is a couple parts that made me want to jump out of my window.
I'm not sure why, but the burglar joined my threesome. What? What kind of song name is that? Don't think about a threesome with Trisha Fake. No, dude, no. I don't want to imagine that. Just for 1 second. Hey! Hey, no! Get that gay shit off my screen. What the fuck was that shit?
Also, this game has an option for lewd images. Just do yourself a favor and turn that shit off. You'll thank me later. Funny enough, by the time I got to the end of this game, I was actually kind of pissed that I liked it. I know that sounds really weird, but hear me out. A romantic visual novel that takes place in a high school full of furry dinosaurs is not something that I play. And I'm sure a majority of you watching are probably thinking the exact same thing. And honestly, that's why I'm making this video, because you guys really should play this game. It's free. Click the link on the bottom. Play it, man. It shocked the shit out of me. I did not expect to even finish it, and here it is, hooking me from beginning to end. I hate that I love this game, and I want all of you guys to play it. It is worth your time. Just keep your expectations reasonable and you'll have a good time.
I can't fucking believe this. These jerk-offs actually managed to take a stupid cringe concept for a visual novel and make a parody that's probably better than the thing it's parodying. And I actually liked it. I fucking liked it. It's a romantic comedy with furries and it kept me entertained the whole time. What the fuck? That's a first for me.
Everybody likes to get taken for turns. To see how bright the fire inside of us burns.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Fun fact, the developers of Goodbye Volcano High were so enraged by Snoot Game's existence that they actually paid Kotaku to write a slander article about it, and are also banning anyone off their Discord for even saying the word snoot. It is really sad. Also, it's been 3 months since I started working on this video. I just now got around to finishing it. And Goodbye Volcano High actually came out, and people are reviewing it and saying that it's only got one ending and none of your choices matter. And as I predicted, a lot of people are saying Snoot Game is better. But hey, subjective. If you like it, you like it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I've never made a video like this before, so feel free to critique the hell out of me so I know what to do better next time. And if you like the stuff, like, subscribe. If you want to see more of it, let me know. And I'll see you guys next time.